Hello and welcome back to Chaos Gaming. I'm continuing my NoMundane Run of Skyrim. What that means is I'll be using only magical skills in terms of combat, and I will not be using any of the non-necessary mundane skills in terms of interacting with the world. And what I mean by that is I won't be using blacksmithing, and I can't avoid using speech, so I will be using speech. And I'll be using alchemy because I think alchemy is more of a magical skill than just a mere physical practical skill. The one exception that people may identify is sneak, because people may see sneak as more of a mundane skill, non-magical, but I think sneak gets to the point that it's so powerful, and it certainly is more powerful than would be explained by mundane means. So I'm considering sneak a potential exception, though I don't necessarily consider it an exception myself. It will be an exception in the minds of those who would say that it is not a magical skill. What happened the last time I played, ran through and found out that my whirlwind sprint shout is not strong enough to make it through a set of gates that are required to be passed to get the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller.
They can't hurt Uncle Rogvir. Tell them he didn't do it.
Positions.
Sorry, you need to go home. Go home and stay there until your mother comes.
Traitor!
Get on with it!
You should tell her that her uncle is scum
You
that
betrayed
his
us.
High King. Best she know now, Advar.
You're all hard for them.
Rogver, you helped Ulfric Stormcloak escape the city after he murdered High King Torrig. By opening that gate for Ulfric, you betrayed the people of Solitude. He doesn't deserve to speak!
There was no
Doesn't look
murder.
like it can be closed.
Ulfric challenged Torrig. He beat the High King in fair combat. Such is our way. Such is the ancient custom of Skyrim and all Nords.
Boo!
On this day, I go to Sovngarde.
Wow.
Some gate guard you were.
So as I was saying, found out that Whirlwind Sprint wasn't going to get me to the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller, so I had to backtrack from that,
Bad rubbish, I say.
I think I expected more.
and then I got another piece of the guard. Hold on, let me see if I've got that in my journal entry. The Galder amulet. So I've got two of those three pieces. Let's see if these guys have anything to say.
I'm waiting.
You wouldn't be a sellsword, would you? I have a little problem you could solve.
Okay, but apparently you're not going to tell me about it now. I am not going to loot the body of a recently deceased man. So, got the Galder amulet. And then, after that, I tried running through Solitude here to pick up quests, and did so after 4 hours of sleep and a full day of work, and it did not work very well. So I'm gonna talk to her and then...
Oh, what delight. Another charming customer. It is when my customers waste time chatting and not buying. Radiant Raiment has the finest attire in all of Skyrim. That is how we get business. Clothes and raiment for the discerning customer.
So, oh good, I can get rid of some of these additional things that I made. Versus Necromancer's Hood, which increases Magicka. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay.
Finally.
So, what I did was make it through Solitude here, picking up a bunch of quests,
Gold for a veteran?
and found out that basically, if I've had 4 hours of sleep and a full day of work, I do not come up with things to say very well, and the things I do say don't necessarily make sense. So I stopped,
You can afford a septum
tried
or
to
two.
record it with just no vocals, so no actual commentary. I figured I could come back and do something with that, or just have the dialogue from the NPCs. And I tried that with one of the videos, because I'd just gotten video editing software, and I figured, well, this will be a good chance to use it. It did not work well. Hold on, I'm going to talk to this guy.
Can you spare a septum? Lost.
I was the finest scout in the Legion once. Tracked down all the places in the wilds that were causing people trouble. Lost my helmet in one of the old caves. My pretty, pretty helmet. Life just got worse after that. Kept losing things. So many things. Oh, you could? I sure would love to have it again. Could show you some of my old scouting tricks. What? You see a man falling on hard times, and you think he's been like that forever? I was there. I fought in the Great War. I was on the field at Anvil. And when I was struck down, they left me. You understand? They left me for dead. I didn't leave them. Oh, thank you. Divines bless your kind heart. I do miss that helmet.
Okay, so
Coin or two for a veteran? It's not much to ask.
I tried to compress the time between the, what do you call them, between actual NPC dialogues, and what ended up happening was it did not work well. The compression worked okay, but
This is
the
an ode to Skyrim's staunch protectors, the Imperials.
whole
We drink to our youth,
crud she's
to
singing.
the days come
All right, I'll let
and
that
gone,
song run
for
while
the
I
age of aggression is just about done.
maybe if I talk to her.
Feel free to make requests. Only in that I'm a graduate. I work here at the Winking Skeever. I would highly recommend it, though. Talk to Viarmo if you're interested. Generally, if you want rumors, you should talk to Corpulus. That said, I did see a visitor pass through on his way to the Blue Palace. Oh, no. But being surrounded by good music, good drink, and good friends is all I've ever asked for. You should think about staying the night. Corpulus keeps a clean inn.
By blade or by spell. If you want it dead, I'll make it dead. All you need to do is pay my fee. If you change your mind, seek me out here. The blade can be as lethal as the spell, but deadlier still is the one who wields both.
I don't doubt it. However, I don't really want to deal with
I have no business with you.
Cool.
Leave me.
having a follower.
Our hero,
I've,
our hero claims a warrior's heart.
What was I saying? Oh, don't want a follower because I've had enough trouble trying to.
Wielding power of the ancient Nord art.
That's going to be interesting.
Believe the dragonborn comes.
So I've had too many issues with hitting like my horse or something with my spells, and that's not what I'm after.
Are you feeling sick?
Ah, right. So if you're if you have a disease or something lingering, every now and then the folks you talk to will ask you if you feel sick. So apparently I've got something. I'll have to check what that is.
Well, as it turns out, I had a pet skeever when I was a boy, and he used to wink. They were smaller back then. I think the Bard's College might be looking for recruits. You should speak to the head of the college, Viarmo, if you're interested. Varnius Junius stopped by here on his way to court. He was worried about something. I'm sure Falk Firebeard could tell you what. Well, as it turns out, I had a pet skeever when I was a boy.
Yes, you already said that.
Wink. I thought so.
So I hate it when it jumps like that.
People say there's a man wandering the streets near the Blue Palace. He seems distressed, but he's not making any sense. I've heard Jari Raz hanging around the Wells district, looking for new blood to hire.
Well, that'll be a decent collection of quests then. And I already know the answer to this, but...
You're on the wrong side of Skyrim. You want Winterhold. That college there, they teach it. Otherwise, you can try the Jarl's Wizard. I wouldn't, though. Remember the winking skeever next time you're footsore.
Good evening. I'm Pantia Atia, the master vocalist. I'm a bard from the Bard's College here in Solitude. Wanderers like you should think about applying. Sure. What can I do for you? Now you can say you've met the most talented bard in all of Skyrim.
Bards certainly do not lack for self-confidence. Oh, hey, you look new.
Ah, yet another new face. I'm from Hammerfell, you see. I can hardly keep track of all the people I've been meeting. Aye, but I'll be here in Solitude for longer still. Viata's skill as a Fletcher drew me to this place. I wanted to learn. And there is still much of Skyrim I wish to see. I hear there is a city, Windhelm, that is nearly white with... what do you call it? Oh yeah, snow. And far to the west lies a ruin, Volskyg. Inside there's said to be a wall, black as night, and it speaks in the ancient dragon tongue. There are wonders in this place I never dreamed imaginable. Where the dragon attacked? We've heard rumors of death and fire from the skies, but no real news. Then we should soon be selling arrows by the bushel. A sword is no good against a dragon. Good to talk to a fellow traveler.
So one of the other outcomes of trying to record commentary and 4 hours of sleep was that I decided it would make sense, rather than trying to talk over the loading screens, to simply, well, let's see what this is. Nothing. Okay. Simply pause my statements when the loading screens start and then pick up the discussion afterwards. So it doesn't appear that there's anybody additional here. The theory behind that is that if I'm not speaking during the loading screens, I can edit them out of the videos before I publish them. That'll reduce the length of the videos to some extent, and it won't involve just listening to me speak while there's nothing going on. Of course, I'm sure that it's completely thrilling to listen to me speak while I wander around hallways and don't actually do anything, but at least it will
to the days come and gone.
Keep
For
doing
the
that.
age of aggression
Alright, so you
is
two I've
just
talked to.
about done.
You I have not talked to.
We'll drive out
Take
the
my
storm
advice.
first,
Never
so
gamble.
what we are.
Damn Ernskar
With
has
our
me in
blood
debt
and
up to
our
the
steel,
eyes.
we will take back our
Too many drinking games, too many pets, and I'm too old to ever raise the coin on my own. He's a stubborn oaf. I don't know what good it'll do. You should speak to my daughter, Yvette. She's the brains of the family.
Skyrim, and we fight all our lives. And when
So that's kind of where things hit now as far as, what do you call it?
Jari. It doesn't matter how many times you ask.
Logistics within
You might want to rethink that.
recording
This
goes.
job's a wonderful opportunity.
New in town, right? If you need a place to sleep, head over to the Winking Skeever. They keep a fine inn.
Click.
Jarl Elisif the Fair. Poor woman. Losing her husband and king like that. It was a dark day for us all. Damn! That reminds me. I have a delivery to make to her steward, Falk Firebeard. He ordered a special bottle of Strass Mackay rum. Saved me a lot of trouble. Here. Take it to the Blue Palace. I showed up to watch, yeah. I don't know if they were right to execute him for what he did, but I'll tell you something. It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Listen, Rogvir and I grew up together. It was us, a few others, and Vivienne. Vivienne Onus. I have no idea why, but one day I told Rogvir I liked her. It was a stupid thing to do. He mocked me incessantly after that. From that point forward, every time Vivienne and I were anywhere close to each other, he made sure to humiliate me. He beat me up, dumped meat on my head, anything he could get away with. Once he even slipped a beehive into my bed. We were children, sure, but Rogvir never outgrew that immaturity or his cruelty. So any talk about him being an honorable Nord? Pure folly. Work in it, I own it. Well, okay. My father owns the Winking Skeever, but it's the family business, so it'll be mine when he kicks off. I was done talking anyway.
Yes, you were. Okay, so it's interesting. Hold on.
As High Priest of the Eight Divines, I bid you welcome.
Interesting.
See me when you get bored, stranger.
Different opinions folks have
Yes?
about that.
Are you here to talk about my brother? Do you think his execution was justified? Rogvir. He opened a gate and they executed him for it. He opened a gate and the wrong man rode out of it. If that man hadn't been Ulfric's Stormcloak. If Ulfric hadn't killed High King Torrig. But it was Ulfric. And he did kill the High King in honorable combat. My brother refused to allow the Imperials to take revenge for the deed. So now he's dead. Then like Rogvir, you have a Nord's heart. It's hard for many of the people here to understand. I think Aldous understands. I don't think I could have stayed here if anyone else had... I think I need to be done talking for the moment.
Not a problem.
Blessings be with you.
Got something for just about everybody in here. Give a holler if you have any questions. You're a traveler, correct? Have you been to Whiterun? Wonderful. I hadn't really hoped to run into someone who'd been there. My daughter Fura was assigned to Whiterun after she joined the Imperial Army. I was hoping you might have met her. I haven't heard from her lately. I've tried talking to Captain Aldous, but he hasn't been any help. Oh, that's very sweet of you. Anything you can find out from Captain Aldous would be welcome news. We mostly carry herbs and alchemical ingredients, that sort of thing. Before the war, our stock was mostly used for aromatic use in homes. Yes. These days, we have more people like you coming in, looking for healing and the like. No. Mostly, I'm just a simple herbalist. Lami over in Mothall should be able to help you. Got a pretty full stock of potions and alchemy reagents.
I don't think I have anything. Ooh, she has books. Okay. Any extra... Oh, I do have extra potions. Sweet. Alright, extra magicka health, illusion, magicka stamina, resist, magicka stamina, shot, defender, skirmisher, and weak fear. Cool. So a little extra cash there.
Don't forget me next time you need herbs and potions.
So I'm gonna put her quest so that if I run into Aldous, I don't miss him. I actually...
Watch what you're doing!
Sorry about that. Let's see here. So check the map real quick. Yeah, so he is here, because I was worried that he might be the captain running Whiterun. And if he was, then that would not be where I wanted to go. Not right now. Alright, so we'll come over here to bits and pieces.
Take a good look around. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. If not, let me know. I might have it stored away.
Talk.
Biren said you got here just before the execution. Must have been a lovely first sight. Baron's my husband. He works the forge up at Castle Dower. I barely see him nowadays, what with him filling orders for the army. No, that was an ugly affair. High King Torig's death has turned the whole town on its head. Between you and me, he wasn't even that good a king. All of those rambling speeches about the Empire this and the Empire that.
Alright, so let's see if you have
Take a
any
look.
lockpicks. Yep, one? I'll take it, that's fine. And then do I have anything to sell? Yep, you've got 764s. And that's why speech is impossible to avoid. Although I suppose I could just not sell anything, but that wouldn't be practical.
Come back to bits and pieces anytime.
Okay, so I'm collecting quite a few quests here in Solitude, which is interesting. Jarida.
You're passing through Solitude? Maybe you're looking to make some easy gold, yes? It's easy to find things to sell. Things nobody will miss. Things from underground, or just left lying around in someone's house. I bet the two of us, we're very alike. So why not take the next step? We can help each other. My sister Deja and I are treasure hunters. We like to collect things. Of course not. Thieves take what is precious. Thieves steal. We just take what will not be missed, what no one needs anymore. Maybe we take some weapons and stop a few deaths. Who would call that thievery?
Anybody who knows the definition. So,
Just
I've got
remember, I'm here if you rethink your decision.
I'm not gonna worry about theft. Alright. Or reappropriation of goods, or however else you decide to say it.
Hey, wanna
And
play
then
tag?
There's a market up here.
You know, the Winking Skeever's not just the best inn in Solitude. It's also the only inn in Solitude.
Alright then.
You wouldn't have a few minutes to run down to the docks, would you? Well, I've got a shipment of spices the East Empire Company is holding up. I need someone to convince them to release it. Great. Get back to me when you're done and I'll give you something for your time. Oh, yes. A secret family recipe. The only good thing my father Octave ever did. In fact, it's so good, no one else in Skyrim even tries to make any.
The freshest in Skyrim.
They're adequate. Honestly, I rely on the business brought in by the burning of King Olaf, and that's not likely to happen this year.
The finest fish here. Caught daily.
Well, it's a great big festival put on by the bards every year. They burn an effigy of old King Olaf. It's quite a bit of fun. The bards give out spiced wine during the festival, so they put it in a big order. And then, for weeks after, demand is so high, I can barely keep up. But with the death of High King Torig, the festival has been declared in poor taste. So it looks like it won't happen this year. Good luck out there. Seems like a tough time to be wandering Skyrim.
Lady Atia says my voice is second.
You look
only
like
to
you could do
hers,
with a ripe
but she's
apple.
selling me shit.
Or a tomato. Cabbage. Or leek. That I do. I had a messenger from Dragon Bridge stop here on his way to the Blue Palace not too long ago. He was very nervous. Mentioned something about needing help. I have my ways, but it's not easy these days. The Black Blood Marauders have been plundering ships off the coast. A lot of people been hurt by their foolishness.
Interesting. So I'll have to potentially...
Come back when you figure out how to spend money.
Few can resist my charms. Even fewer are worthy of them.
Okay.
An
I
apple
can't
to keep you
understand why
healthy,
Yorn would
a
want to join the
tomato to
Imperial
keep you
Legion.
strong.
Soldiers
But
only
surely
appreciate
you
one
need
thing,
one or the
and
other.
it isn't music.
Plenty of fresh fish for you.
Keep the cold at bay with our
Down at the docks. There are a few good spots if you can avoid the East Empire Company
Fresh off the
workers and
boat.
those red-waved
Freshest in
thugs.
Skyrim.
Sorry, yes. It's been hard on her. The girl misses her uncle. I've tried to explain that Rogvir did something bad, and that we all have to be accountable for our actions. But the child feels what she will.
Keep the cold at bay with our
These are troubled times. Be on your guard out there.
The finest fish here.
You were there for Rogvir's execution. Most people head over to the Winking Skeever. If you're not interested in music or drink, you can at least talk to Corpulus. He can fill you in on any of the latest gossip. Perhaps, but necessary. My cousin Fura is somewhere out there in Skyrim right now, fighting Ulfric Stormcloak and his damned insurrectionists. She wouldn't have to be there at all if it weren't for Rogvir. And my aunt wouldn't have to worry about her daughter. You really don't know? He lets Ulfric Stormcloak escape Solitude. Ulfric rides in, murders the High King, and Rogvir lets him ride right back out. People to see and places to go, huh? Later then.
So, it's interesting the voice acting, that they have as much of it as they do. It seems like all of the dialogue options are voice acted, and that's gotta be quite a bit of time and talent put into it. So, I don't really have a lot of background to base it on, but just the fact that they're doing that much, and it doesn't seem
there's no end to the needs of the Imperials.
awful.
What can I help you with?
I mean, I don't know if it's like really good quality. Perhaps it's just something that I'm not able to notice the quality of, but it's definitely something that's surprising that they put that much into it.
It's almost all I have time for these days. The men training here in Solitude, and the troops out in the field. They all need weapons and armor. But I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. To be honest, no. But High King Torrig supported them. And now, her lady Elisif has thrown in with them. You could say I'm a king's man at heart. I guess that's Jarl's man now. My loyalty lies with Solitude. So, where Jarl Elisif leads, I follow. I think I would, if it weren't for my son and my wife. Oh, Seema would have my hide if I even suggested I might step foot on a battlefield. You think Stormcloaks and Legionnaires are dangerous? Ha! Return anytime you need arms or armor. My forge never rests.
So, I mean, I now notice, having mentioned the voice acting, that his voice is the same as someone else's voice somewhere, but I hadn't noticed that before, so that could be my own limitation, but I still think it's kind of interesting. Oh. Alright, so is there anybody in here to talk to? Maybe.
No offense, but you're not looking so good. Are you feeling ill?
I forgot. I need to find somewhere where I can get rid of disease. I probably ought to check what the disease is too after I get done talking to this guy.
Food, experience, and a roof over my head in the finest city in Skyrim. If money's all you hold dear, then you end up like Jari Ra, a plague on the city. Captain Aldous can't prove it, but that Argonian is up to no good. I like you. No man is a match for a dragon. Buying one of our blades wouldn't hurt your chances, though. May your sword feast on Stormcloak flesh.
Alright, so let's see here. Oh, wrong one. So if I come in here to magic, down here to active effects, so I have Rock Joint, which reduces my melee weapons effectiveness by 25%. And if I were playing a melee character, that would be a serious issue, but I'm not. Even if I were playing a melee character, though, I expect I'd be able to find a shrine to get that healed here in Solitude before I leave to go to any combat. Oh, Fletcher's locked.
I've got a little work if you're interested, traveler.
Oh, shut up, Jarira. So, let's see here. What time is it? It's 9. I'll wait. I'm specifically here trying to get quests, so what I'll do is I'm going to wait, and I'll just be silent during the wait the same way I would with opening doors. In fact, I'll probably, just so that I can kill the, what do you call it? Oh, this part of the video.
Let me know if you see anything you like.
Okay, well, oh, no, don't go away. I want to talk to you.
You look a bit peaked. You sure you shouldn't be home in bed? Why, of course. And will you also be needing the bow that shoots rainbows? Or perhaps a quiver that dispenses beer? Look, if you want arrows, we have them. But don't insult my intelligence.
It's not so much your intelligence.
Take a look.
Or even an insult. It's... Don't remember picking up an ancient Nord sword. Especially at only 4 gold. Ugh, not very useful. Alright, so I don't have... Do you have lockpicks? Come on. Yes, you have a lockpick. Cool. Alright.
Perhaps I'll be seeing more of you.
Maybe. What the... Oh, okay. That was odd. Alright. So I'm using Lightworks as my video editing software. I've never done video editing before. Are you the captain I'm supposed to speak to?
Concentrate.
The divine
So I'm...
saved
It
me
is full
from
of
the
distractions.
streets, and they
Ignore
can
them.
save you from
Focus
your
on your
trials as
targets.
well.
So I'm kind of picking up just a little bit here and there, basic editing information. I doubt it'll be anything... I do not know that expertise will be something that I ever get to or even strive for. It's more a practical benefit in terms
Need
of
something?
supporting this. Yes, please.
Out with it. That I am. Train the recruits. Turn boys into men. That sort of thing. Thinking of asking the general for some training books. Give the soldiers something to do while they're on rest. Something besides drinking. Ever seen a book called The Mirror? We used to hand it out to boys looking to learn basic shield work. Good on you.
Yay.
Their aim could be steadier, but they're battle ready. Keep my men in your prayers. They'll need them if they don't shape up.
Who said I was done talking?
Not my finest hour. Rogvir was a fine and honorable man. No, I think he was entirely wrong. Rogvir's execution was justified and necessary. Being honorable might make you a good man, but it doesn't make you right. Be a better world if it did. Generally, posting information is need to know only. I've been trying to find the time and place to let her know. The daughter was sent to Whiterun. The skirmishes there have been violent. The Whiterun legate, he needed to know the Stormcloak positions. He sent out a party to scout the area. They happened upon a large force. I'm told none of them made it back. Private Morard, Angela's daughter, was in that scouting party. She needs to be told.
Bummer. Not necessarily surprising though, since she hadn't heard anything. Alright, so we'll come in here.
I mostly deal with petty thievery and drunken brawls. Been too long since we've had a good bandit raid.
So this should be where we join up with the Legion, would be my guess.
The winking skeevers got warm beds and cold mead. You look like you could use both.
Alright, so I think a dialogue.
I'm telling
there we
you,
go.
Ulfric's planning an attack on Whiterun.
He'd be insane to try. He doesn't have the men.
That's not what my scouts report, sir. Every day more join his cause. Riften, Dawnstar, and Winterhold support him.
It's not a cause. It's a rebellion.
Call it whatever you like, General. The man's going to try to take Whiterun.
Jarl Balgruuf.
Balgruuf refuses the Legion's right to garrison troops in his city. On the other hand, he also refuses to acknowledge Ulfric's claim.
Well, if he wants to stand outside the protection of the Empire, fine. Let Ulfric pillage a city.
General.
You people and your damn Jarls.
Sir, you can't force a Nord to accept help he hasn't asked for.
If Ulfric's making a move for Whiterun, then we need to be there to stop him. Draft another letter with the usual platitudes, but this time share some of your intelligence regarding Ulfric's plans. Embellish if you have to. We'll let it seem like it's his idea.
Yes, sir.
You Nords and your bloody sense of honor.
Sir.
Are my men now giving free rein to anyone who wanders into the castle? Do you have some reason to be here, citizen? Right, Helgen. One of the prisoners, if I recall correctly. I suppose that's true. Fine. Why don't you have a chat with Legate Ricka? I suspect we might have use for someone resourceful like you. Not many survived, Helgen. Besides, I'm sure your being imprisoned was all a terrible misunderstanding.
So, he was being sarcastic, but yes it was. I don't even understand it.
You survived Helgen? General Tullius told me what happened. Not many made it out alive. I've got a good feeling about you, and I don't often get good feelings about anything. A warrior knows to trust her gut. I'm not going to go through the normal process with you. I've got a little test lined up. Pass that, and we'll talk about you joining the Legion. The kind that evaluates your usefulness during duress. I'm sending you to clear out Fort Hrogstad. If you survive, you'll pass. If you die, then I'll have no further use for your corpse. The ancients built many of the fortresses that dot the landscape of Skyrim. Sadly, most have fallen into disrepair, and nearly all have been overrun with bandits or other vagabonds. Fort Hrogstad is one of the few that remains mostly intact. We're going to install a garrison there, but first, you're going to clean out the bandits that have moved in. Good, that's what I want to hear. Now go make it happen, soldier.
It's interesting to me to be told that in a world where there are massive armies that fight one another, a single individual is going to take a fort. They don't know I'm the Dragonborn, because I don't even know if they care and they didn't mention it. But hey, you, go take a fort.
What the rebels like to forget is that the Empire's what's keeping the Dominion out of Skyrim. Keep your guard up. Think you've got the metal, huh? Honestly, the Legion can use all the able bodies it can muster. We have our hands full. A dead king, a rebellion, and now dragons? Skyrim's a mess. If you're serious, you're in the right place. Our headquarters is in Castle Dower. Here you'll find General Tullius, commanding our forces in Skyrim. But talk to Legate Ricka. She handles the local recruiting. You mean Ulfric's so-called Stormcloak Rebellion? The Nord Kings, excuse me, Jarls. They can't seem to control their own people, so the Legion has stepped in to keep order. Sadly, the Empire's stretched a little thin these days, and we've gotten very few reinforcements. So we've been forced to recruit locally. But rest assured, citizen, we'll put an end to this uprising, and things will get back to normal soon enough. Not sure I understand the question. The Legion's always been in Skyrim. We have garrisons throughout all the provinces of the Empire. Our mission is to serve the Emperor, uphold the law, and protect the citizenry. Skyrim's days are darkening, and the Legion will soon be called into service like never before. But we stand ready, as always, to meet that call.
Nope, that was the wrong button.
Yeah.
So this is my first Elder Scrolls game. I tried to play Oblivion, I believe, at one point, and didn't understand the game mechanics.
There's not much up there, but if we can regain Winterhold
well enough to really interact with the game. I had an expectation of it that was inaccurate, and so the game presented, nothing, a level of disappointment that I gave up on it. However, that being said, my understanding of the Elder Scrolls series is that all of the games are linked. Each of the games represents a different time period, And again, if I understand it correctly, the timing of it is such that, and that's actually kind of, hold on, I'll get back to that in a second. This is interesting that the guards apparently function in shifts, because there were guys outside training and there's guys in here sleeping too, instead of just a single day-night cycle. I think that's kind of cool. Light armor that I'm not going to use. So anyway, as I was saying, the later games are also I thought this was, that is not what I thought it was. Later games are representative of later time periods within the world. So, anyway, that's just to say that in Skyrim there's a much bigger world going on, and the guy that we were last talking to mentioned that they're having trouble getting reinforcements. And I'm just kind of curious what else is going on in the realm of the Empire that they're not able to get reinforcements and that they're stretched thin. And the way the general reacts to Nords, it almost... not cool. Oh, hey, a lockpick I'll take though. The way the general reacts to Nords, it seems almost like Skyrim itself is a backwater, but it just seems interesting. The one guy gives the impression that he would not consider the events here as very significant, or at least that's kind of the impression that comes across. So it's kind of interesting what might be going on behind the scenes. And I don't know if they provide an answer to that or not. Alright, so you're just a guard.
What is it?
Expert. I'm not gonna try and pick locks with a guard around anyway, because I'd get in trouble and potentially end up in one of these cells. And now this is interesting. So I can't talk to the person, and it's the one cell that can't be picked. Weird. Alright, so I'm just, running around seeing if there's anybody else to give me a quest, and it doesn't appear that there is, so, which is intriguing. And it's
If those Whiterun guards can take down a dragon, so can we.
Yeah, probably. I mean, dragons aren't necessarily hard to take down per se. It's just a matter of how many resources you're willing to throw at them. Alright, anyway, that's all stuff I've been in. So it's just interesting to be told that, we can't get reinforcements when you don't have the context of what else is going on, that you would have trouble with that. And I suppose this is Solitude, so it would make sense that given the major subplot is...
Abide fancy clothes, but you look like you might.
the conflict between the Stormcloaks and the Thalmor headquarters. Oh, that'll be interesting. I'll do that in a second. Anyway, the major plot is between the Stormcloaks and the Empire. It's interesting to have the level of detail surrounding it. So, I mean, it seems like, and again, this is the center, or the headquarters of the Empire, so it would make sense that here it would be this big a deal. But the first thing you encounter when you get to town is this issue with the guy who's being beheaded, and so that underlying conflict is front and center. So in a previous playthrough, a Thalmor killed me just, you know, for not saying that I didn't worship Talos. So I don't know how wise of me it is to come in here and talk to these people. I'm hoping that because I'm trying to side with the Empire, maybe they won't be as deadly to me. Of course, if there's nobody here, it's not going to matter. So maybe they're downstairs. Let's find out, but I half expect that all I'm going to find downstairs is an exit. Nope, no skill up from that. And nobody here or here. So yeah, it's an empty building. I don't know. I guess, whatever. Worth discovering an empty building. So anyway, I mean, as the Dragonborn, you're a central plot device, but it's almost like the Dragonborn is just another, or just a
You can sell
way
off that junk at bits and pieces.
to tell the story of this political conflict. Alright, so crown, but not crown, excuse me. Alright, so here's a temple. We can use this for removing the disease that I have.
Blessings of the Eight Divines upon you. How may I help? You look troubled. Have you come seeking guidance? Those who worship at the shrines will sometimes receive boons from the gods themselves. The nature of the favors varies per deity. Please, feel free to worship at any or all of the shrines. Ah, yes. That once held the shrine to Talos. But the worship of Talos was banned by the White Gold Concordat some time ago. It's the peace treaty that ended the war with the elves of the Aldmeri Dominion. The Dominion recognized the heresy of proclaiming Talos a god. Talos was a great man, and a great emperor, but that does not make him a god. No matter how much the Stormcloaks may wish it were so. The strong and honorable always carry the blessing of the Eight.
Okay. So let's come see what the different, well, look around. Oh, hey, there's a, I guess I'll look at what the different things do in a second. For now, you can see what's down here, requires key, okay. Alright, anyway, so let's see what the different shrines do.
Are you feeling sick?
Yes, I am, which is why I'm here. So, alright, we've got a Shrine of Stendar. And now, because I've used the shrine, all diseases are cured. Yep, no red. Alright, so what does the Shrine of Stendar do? 10% block, so not blocking, not useful. Arcay does... Oh, there it is. Increase health by 25 points, not bad.
As High Priest of the
Zenithar,
Eight Divines, I give you...
Does... Prices are 10% better. Situationally useful. Kinnereth. Stamina by 25. Not at all useful to this character. Bella, 10% or plus 10 speechcraft. I wonder what the difference between that and the better prices is. Maybe speechcraft gives a better chance at persuasion in general. Akatosh. Magicka regenerates 10% faster. That's nice. We'll keep that. Well, we'll come back for that, I guess is a better way of putting it. Let's see here. Active effects. Magicka by 25 points.
Walk in the steps of the divines.
And then Mara. Healing spells restore 10% more. That's nice, but I mean, healing spells are kind of secondary. So I'm going to stick with the Shrine of Akatosh. So the more magicka you have, the faster it regens. I'm not sure what the calculations on those are, so I'll just go through and keep the magicka regen. It might end up being overall less effective, but I'm not too worried about min-maxing. Well, I guess I can exit here. I've talked to everybody in there. So I know that running around and well, I thought it would be a shortcut. Let's see here. Can it be?
Come on now.
Ew.
I want those arrows dead.
Oh, yay, I can use healing real quick to regen that and
The lives of your fellow
yay. Alright, so I was gonna say I expect that casting or running around collecting quests isn't necessarily going to be the most interesting thing for people watching videos. So I think what I'll do is start listing. Oh, yeah. So I'll put in a note in the video that says this is a quest collection video or something, so that folks know that all it is running around and talking to people. Wonder if this takes me back into... Where does this take me? Castle, Dower, Emperor's Tower. I don't think I've been here before. But I don't want to just cut them out, because people might find them... I can take the skull, so it's not stealing in here, which is always interesting when it's not actually stealing. I wonder if I should take the fine clothes to be able to enchant them, but for now I'll just leave it be. So I don't want to just not display the videos, like cut them out entirely, because people, may want to see the actual gameplay, or not gameplay, but may want to see the plot events and that kind of thing that happen. And so I don't necessarily want somebody to be expecting a full playthrough and then not be able to encounter it. So instead, I can just label the videos such that it's obvious that they are a quest gathering video, and then people know that, hey, it's just going to be a whole bunch of walking around collecting quests, and while it oh, whoops, that goes to Skyrim. And while that's happening, people can, while that's happening, I mean, I'll still be giving little bits of info here and there, but this is not where I want to be. So back in I go. Interesting, though, that it's a back way into Solitude. But my main goal here is to provide gameplay footage, and if I'm not, or if the little bits of walking between places end up detracting? Yes, detracting from that. It'd be better to give people the opportunity to not worry about it. I did try compressing them, as I mentioned, but it ends up not working very well.
You help me. You help people, right? That's what you do. Please, take pity on an old madman.
Click.
My master has abandoned me. Abandoned his people. And nothing I say can change his mind. Now he refuses to even see me. He says I interrupt his vacation. It's been so many years. Won't you please help?
Those eyes are creepy.
Oh, you just don't understand. Without him, I am not free. Without him, I am doomed. All of his empire shall fall into chaos. Last I saw him, he was visiting a friend in the Blue Palace. But no one as mundane as a Jarl. No, no. Such people are below him. No, he went into the forbidden wing of the palace to speak with an old friend. Said it had been ages since they had last had tea. Oh, and you'll need the hip bone. It's very important. No entering Pelagius's wing without that.
Oh, so he gave me the hip bone. Okay.
All right, then.
Anyway, so that's just kind of my strategy here, or at least what I'm thinking of implementing as a strategy, is to try and make it such that folks can consume the videos that meet what they're after. I'll have to develop a labeling system of some sort so that I can remain consistent in that, though. Nope. Alright. Now usually the Halls of the Dead will have a keeper, somebody who hangs out and watches over it. And I don't know if this one's going to be an exception, or... So I'll just keep running around and oh, that's 3 books. So I click on the individual books just because the individual ones seem to have a higher probability of being skill ups, and even though they can, I don't want to go to the catacombs, even though they can give, they'll increase me, the experience that I have and potential level me, it's still nice to have the opportunity to maybe get some better skill in one of the magic types or something. So there have been quite a few places with... Alright, so that's... okay. Quite a few places with quests. I'm actually... I mean, it's a major city. That is certainly the case. So, it's not really a surprise that there are as many quests as there are. It's just... in part, it's impressive, if I'm honest.
I'm a little busy at the moment.
Yeah, I already talked to
I've got
Vivian.
all sorts of errands to run.
Which is surprising, because I don't necessarily think I'm guaranteed to remember who I've talked to and who I haven't. So that's one of the nice things about... okay, so that's where that is. One of the nice things about the way it handles dialogue options. If you've already used a dialogue option, it... well, I don't want to pick that. Alright, if you've already used a dialogue option, it will gray it out. So at least you know... not necessarily that you've already talked to someone, because sometimes the way that works... another house that's locked, another house that's locked. Sometimes the way that that works... locked... is that you'll talk to somebody who just has a redundant dialogue option, and it'll still say that that's grayed out. And so it's not a perfect way of knowing whether or not you've talked to somebody, but at least there's something there that helps indicate that. So quite a few places that require keys around here. And we said this was locked, that was there. So one of the things I'm trying to find is the Bard's College, because I'm supposed to go to the Bard's College. What's interesting is, I know you can pick up instruments, but I haven't seen anything that suggests they do something. I don't know, and maybe getting to the Bard's College will learn, and here it is.
Welcome to the Bard's College. I'm the headmaster here. How may I help you? Always a pleasure to meet a prospective bard. You should be aware that many apply, but we accept very few people. When possible, we ask applicants to perform tasks the college needs completed. In this case, I do have a task befitting an aspiring bard. Elisif has forbidden the burning of King Olaf, a festival put on by the Bard's College. We need to change her mind. To convince her, I want to read King Olaf's verse, a part of the Poetic Edda, the living history of Skyrim. Unfortunately, the verse was lost long ago. Yes, according to Giraud, our history's keeper, the portion of the Edda dealing with King Olaf might still exist in Dead Man's Respite. I need you to retrieve the poem. Not much, to be honest. Their return was a shock to us all. Gerard Germain has some tomes about them in the library, if you're interested. Not much. But as a bard, I find the whole affair depressing. There are no heroes in this war, no winners to be had, and no real conclusion. If you want something a bard can dig into, look to the dragons. 1,000 years from now, Skyrim will have changed rulers dozens of times. But the return of the dragons, that story is once in an era. As you may be aware, Elisif's husband, High King Torygg, was recently killed. Elisif mourns her husband deeply, and she feels that a festival that burns a king in effigy is distasteful. I tried to convince her the festival is many centuries old and celebrates solitude, but I need proof. I believe King Olaf's verse will provide that proof. I think Giraud here would give you the best explanation of both it and the history of King Olaf's verse. You should speak to him about it.
Pardon me, but
I wish you luck in finding the verse.
I wish only to graduate and enroll with the Legion. It's an honor to have Viarmo for instruction on drum, but it's far too reserved for my tastes. And why wouldn't I be? We sing tales of kings, queens, and their politics, 'tis true. But do you know who really makes history? The person who writes it. Farewell, stranger.
Hello, yes. I'm the Dean of History. And scribe work when I can find some quiet time. Good to meet a prospective bard. He's sending you after King Olaf's verse, then. That's good. We shouldn't leave it lying around now that I figured out where it is. The verse was Svafnir's contribution to the Poetic Edda, the living history of Skyrim. Each bard adds to the Edda in his or her time. And a very ancient one. The verse criticized the reigning King Olaf. He was so incensed the bard was put to death and all the copies burned. At least, that's what we thought until I translated some ancient texts a year or so ago. We now believe King Olaf buried the truth with the bard. If I'm right, Svafnir and King Olaf's verse lie in Dead Men's Respite, along with the burial chamber of King Olaf himself.
Don't know why you'd bury someone opposed to you in your own grave, but...
Be careful. You might find more than just King Olaf's verse in Dead Man's Respite. Remember, being a bard isn't just about the music.
Anything I can do for you, I will.
Okay then. Alright, so let's see who else was here. Nobody here. Got that gal. Oh man. No, she's asleep. Leave her be.
It's been my honor to perform at the Blue Palace on many occasions. His late lordship was quite the admirer.
You we've already talked to.
My position, Dean of History, actually covers a wide range of subjects. I teach poetry, writing, history, and
It's your job to
add a bit of emphasis on Ragnar.
excite the crowds, draw them
Whoops.
in. They
I
will
wasn't thinking, and that was theft. Oh well. Alright. So I think that was something just triggered by location, because there was nobody there who would have been talking, and that's kind of weird in and of itself. Oh, hey, somebody's playing. Wait. Nope, you I had talked to already. And who's down here? Anybody? Nope, nothing down here. Alright. And does this go out to Solitude? What does this do? This goes to Solitude. I don't want to get lost, and I've got a bad enough time keeping track of where I am in real life, where there is laws of geometry that prevent something from leading you somewhere and that doesn't give me anything, leading you from somewhere that it would be impossible to otherwise. I suspect that they try and keep it.
The Bard's college kitchen. Congratulations.
Thanks. Quite a few people with sarcasm as their primary character trait in the game. I find that interesting. So you're still there. Is she still asleep? She's still asleep. Fine. I'll leave that be. Alright, so I think we're getting close to the end of buildings and therefore quests in Solitude.
Dean Inga says a bard can never have enough practice. So, would you like a tune?
Alright, so is this something I can... That's a house. Okay. Ah! The fact that your eyes have to adjust as you turn is... well, it's kind of interesting. I think it's actually... it's a neat touch. I don't think I'd mind if it wasn't there, frankly. But... Eriker's house. So Eriker is the brother of the gal we met in the Winking Skeever. And she was not fond of him. So we'll see if he's home. Given that the doors are open, usually that implies that the person is home, otherwise they're locked. And man, 3 doors into the house, that seems a bit excessive. Read what? Something that does not provide a skill up. He does have an enchanter though, but I haven't looted anything since the last time I used an arcane enchanter, so it's not going to have anything for me. I've been operating under the assumption that if there's someone there, then it'll be unlocked, but I'm starting to think that what it is it's not a question of is someone there, it's just a question of what time is it. Which, in its own right, is kind of interesting, but it does make for The heck. Need to get further downstairs? Yes, there we go. Make it interesting for trying to find certain people at certain times. Or at all, I mean. Okay, so Eriker's house was not productive. We have another kid. This is Bryling's house. I don't remember someone named Bryling. I wonder if that's like a last name and I just wasn't paying enough attention. Alright, so there is an upstairs and a downstairs again. Houses are really big. I guess it's close to the palace. Oh, hey. Ernsker Ironhand, have I already talked to you?
Unless we have specific business, I'm not interested. When I was a young rascal, I broke a man's arm with a single punch. Of course, I had a horseshoe hidden in my glove. Debts are debts. Either he pays them, or his kind do. Fine. You sound like a priest of Mara, but I get your point. Tell him to forget about the gold. Keep your sword, Armstrong.
Yay. Nope, no benefit there. Stuff to steal. Another book, The Great War. Nope, nothing upgrade there. Now to check the lower section and find out what's... This is the... yeah, so that... no? Was it? Yeah, just another place where there's multiple ways through. You're Bryling.
Thane Bryling, at your service.
And apparently you have nothing to say. Okay. Oh, no. So that's the
I can always
back
find
way
time
in?
to share a word with a warrior.
Alright. Interesting. The back door appears to be locked and the front door isn't. And it's locked from the inside, too. Maybe. Whatever. Alright. And unless I miss my guess, that would be the last building before making it to the palace. So I'll get the quests in the palace proper. A new fast travel location too. But I'll get the quest in the palace proper after collecting these things and then call that good. This is going to be an extensive video at that point, but meh. It'll work. Alright. And there have been a lot of quests, so I should have plenty to do for quite some time.
Respect the law, and you'll have no trouble in Dragonbridge. Mind you don't cross Tassius. He's in charge around here.
But I'm not in Dragonbridge. Interesting. Okay, so I'm... There we go.
Magics are coming from that cave. There are strange noises and lights. We need someone to investigate.
Then we will immediately send out a legion to scour the cave and secure the town. Halfingar's people will always be safe under
Your
my
Eminence, my scrying has suggested nothing in the area. Dragonbridge is under Imperial control. This is likely superstitious nonsense.
Perhaps a more tempered reaction might be called for?
Oh, yes, of course, you were right. Falk, tell Captain Aldous I said to assign a few extra soldiers to Dragonbridge.
Thank you, Jarl Elisif. What about the cave?
I will have someone take care of the cave as well, Varnius. You can rest easy. You're dismissed.
Bryling's obsession with honor and tradition is quaint, but politically irrelevant. Oh, most certainly. At least when Elisif herself asks. If you're inquiring whether we have concerns about her age and inexperience, let me put it this way. The Thanes have every confidence in General Tullius's leadership. I'm a Thane. In the future, you may want to gain that information before talking with someone. Risk of looking like an idiot and all that.
Right. You're full of yourself.
I must return to the court. They simply can't make do without me.
Right.
Please address all questions to the steward, Folk Firebeard.
Do you have... I am the Jarl's steward. If you have court business to tend to, you talk to me. Oh, right, the rum. Thank you. I developed a taste for it after a fair-weather trip to Hammerfell. Here, this is for you. You mean the Dragon Bridge issue? I'll be honest with you. I was planning to let that go. Varnius is a bit jumpy at the best of times. There have been reports of weird happenings near Wolfskull Cave. Travelers disappearing, odd lights. I suspect wild animals, or perhaps bandits. I don't think it's worth our time with the war going on. But if you want to clear out the cave, I'll make sure you're repaid for your work. Absolutely not. That wing has been sealed for hundreds of years, and for good reason. They say the ghost of Pelagius the Mad still haunts it. Ghost or not, there are reminders of his dark rule that are best left buried away. Feel free to return to me with questions. The Blue Palace is an open forum. The Jarl is not to be disturbed with common affairs of court. You direct those concerns to me. The cave has a bad history. Long ago, Potema the Wolf Queen used it for necromantic rituals. That's where it got the name. That was over 500 years ago. Nothing much down there now. But everyone's always convinced the cave is haunted.
You talk about the Pelagius wing being haunted, so you can't get in, but then you say people who think
that remains to be seen.
Skull Cave is
By
haunted.
rights, she has a legitimate claim as High Queen of Skyrim. But we must have the support of the other Jarls for that claim to have any meaning. Should they accept her rule, we will have peace. Of course he does. What sort of a question is that? Maybe you've been listening to Erikr. There's been loose talk among some of the Thanes, and I suspect he's the cause of it. You'll pay those rumors no heed if you wish to retain your welcome in this city. She may be young, but Elisif is the Jarl by right. And here in Skyrim, if nothing else, we respect the traditions of our fathers' fathers. You do well to remember that.
All right.
Feel free to return to me with questions. The Blue Palace is an open forum.
If I needed something from you, you would know it. I was, to my shame. The whole court was in attendance. I've seen much in my time, but that was a gruesome day. Ulfric showed up at the gates of Solitude, requesting an audience. We thought he was here to ask Torygg to declare independence. By the time we realized Ulfric was here to challenge Torygg, it was already too late. By Nord custom, once the challenge was issued in court, Torygg had no choice but to accept. Had he not, Ulfric would have had cause to call a new moot and a new vote for High King. Torygg had some martial training, of course, but it mattered little that day. When Ulfric's lips parted, when he unleashed the power of the Thu'um, that shout, that ancient and terrible tongue, ripped Torygg asunder. I was a member of the court during the reign of Torygg's father. It was Torygg who appointed me to the position. I like to think I've aged well. I'm certainly wiser than I once was, and I know when one should speak, and when one should hold their tongue. I can teach you, but I won't be held responsible for what you do with the knowledge.
Fair enough. Given that I think my next point can be put in at 60, kinda need the additional points. Alright, and then Let's see if we can purchase stuff.
I had you figured for a mage. I think you'll appreciate this.
Alright. Soul gems and stuff. Spell tomes. I wish they showed you what you already knew when you did that, so you didn't have to worry about second guessing. Yeah. Oh. I'll hang on to this. Well, I mean, it's heal another is what it actually. Does she have healing hand? That's a good question. Fast healing, yeah. Healing hands. There we go. Good. So now I can
Take
heal
care of yourself,
others
and
if
always
it
remember,
becomes necessary.
the world is ripe with people looking to spill your blood.
Do you have business with the court?
Nope, not anymore. Pretty sure I got all of the business I had with the court completed. There, now I can heal other people. Not sure how big of an issue that will be long term, but at least I can do it. So, ooh, Arcane Enchanter in here as well. Just looking to see if there's anyone else. You're asleep, so I will leave you be. Alright, is there anybody else? Because I need to get into Pelagius Wing. And so, since he won't let me in, I'm hoping there's someone else in the area who will. And, who the heck are you?
Sabil Stentor has a grasp of magical theory that I would never have expected from a human, even a Breton. I make sure Erica keeps breathing.
You make sure Erica keeps breathing? How do you accomplish that?
No, that honor is Sabil Stentor's. A smart man steers clear of Stentor, and keeps himself out of the dungeon when she's having a bad day. Let's just say that the headsman's axe may not be the worst way for a Solitude jail prisoner to die. Look at that. I've told you to watch your tongue, and mine is waggling. I've said enough.
Alright then.
You are free to leave.
I didn't realize I needed permission. Okay, so this requires a key. We've been that way. This is the kitchen. You've got a cook there. And Una.
Watch your feet. We just cleaned there. Not in your life. It's dangerous in there. And Falk doesn't even like me and Erdy going in every year to clean out the spiders. If you really want to, just be careful of the ghost. He snuck up on me once and scared me sick. It took a week for me to feel better. If Erdy caught me chatting, I'd never hear the end of it.
You're Odar. Okay, so I have a key. Sweet. Alright, so what I'll do is I'm going to end this here, and then the next time I start, I'll do the Pelagius Wing. Find out what's in there and whether or not the crazy guy's master can be found. So, thanks all.